Bonjour, bonjour. The pluperfect plus que parfait with être and pronominal verbs. It's part 3. We jumped into the TARDIS and went past the past into the pluperfect, le plus que parfait, where we linked the imperfect and the perfect together. Aw, look how cute they look. We visited the humongous group of common or garden verbs that go with the auxiliary verb avoir. Then we met the cliquey VIP verbs that insist on going with être, except when they accessorize with direct objects, where they crawl their way back to avoir. And now we have to deal with the B-list celeb verbs, the wannabe VIP verbs, the pronominal verbs. There they are. They're queuing up. They're queuing up à la boîte de nuit d'être, Etre's nightclub. They're called pronominal verbs because they have to use the reflexive pronouns. Pronominal pronoun. The reflexive pronouns me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce. In order for them to be admis dans la boîte de nuit d'être, they have to lay down, because they're not worthy, lay down their pronoun. Lay down the pronoun. Think of the pronouns as special invitations before I'm so special, être. Pronominal verbs in their infinitive form, which is what you'll find in the dictionary because they can't conjugate every bit, or the dictionaries would be enormous. The pronominal verbs have the word se, meaning oneself, in front of the infinitive. Se réveiller, to wake oneself up. We often miss out the word oneself, to wake up. Se lever, to get up, to get oneself up. S'habiller, to dress oneself. French is prolific with pronominal wannabe VIP verbs. English isn't, and some sound very strange when you translate them into English. There are 3 types of pronominal verb. We've got, first of all, the reflexive verbs, things we do to ourselves, like to get oneself up, se lever. Idiomatic verbs, to have fun, s'amuser. These are the ones that sound a bit funny usually when you translate them. To amuse oneself, but really we just say to have fun. And the reciprocal verbs, where you need more than one person involved. Things we do to each other, to one another, to love one another, to love each other. S'aimer. Pronominal verbs have to have their invitations, the reflexive pronouns. So let's take a closer look. Me, which means myself. Te, which means yourself. Ce can mean himself, herself, or oneself. Nous, ourselves. Vous, yourself, if you're addressing one person, or yourselves, more than one. Ce, themselves. So it's me, te, ce, nous, vous, ce. Remember, nous and vous never change. The rhythm of the B-listers. Je, me, tu, te, il se, elle se, on se, nous, ha ha ha, double nous, vous, double vous, il se, elle se. If we do it in the present perfect, we use the present tense of être. Je me suis, tu t'es, il, elle, on sait, elle sait, on sait, nous sommes, vous, vous êtes, ils se sont, elles se sont. But we're doing the plus que parfait, so we need the imperfect of être. Je m'étais, tu t'étais, il s'était, elle s'était, on s'était, nous étions, vous étiez, il s'était, elle s'était. So the last list is what we're going to be using today. Donc, here we have it, et. It's the stem, isn't it? Et for the imperfect of être. We need the past participles. For example, réveiller, lever, habiller, débrouiller, which means fended for myself, rencontrer, met, inquiéter, worried. So we've got these extra E's and S's in brackets. Why? Because the past participles have to agree with the direct object, because the direct object has come before the past participle. Okay, so if you are a woman, me will be referring to a woman, so you'd add an extra E on. When it's nous étions, if you are all women, you would add an ES on. Okay, most of the time you can't hear them because most verbs are ER verbs. So you don't often hear the difference, but that is why you have the extra E's or S's. Okay, they agree with the direct object if it goes before the past participle. So for ER verbs, usual story, regular ER verbs, your past participle will end with an EQ accent. For IR, regular IR verbs, you just flick off that final R to give you the past participle ending in E, the letter I. And for RE verbs, you take off the ending, the RE ending, and replace it with the golden U. Of course, just like all verbs, most pronominal verbs are ER verbs. Over 90%, which is good news. Often, you'll find that pronominal verbs are translated into English with the word get. To get up. Se lever. To get dressed. S'habiller. To get dressed again. Se rhabiller. Because H is like a vowel here. You don't need the RE. You just put an R in front of it. Imagine the H isn't there. A is a vowel. You don't need another E there. To get undressed. Se déshabiller. I had got up too quickly. Je m'étais levé trop vite. Remember, E with no accent on at the end of a syllable, levé. He had dressed himself. They often would say all alone in French. Il s'était habillé tout seul. She hadn't gotten dressed. Elle ne s'était pas déshabillée. She had got angry with him. The French would say against him. To get angry, se fâcher. Elle s'était fâchée contre lui. We had got annoyed with them. Again, against them, they would say in French. To get annoyed, s'énerver. Oh, my nerves. Nous nous étions énervés contre eux ou contre elles. On s'était énervé contre eux, contre elles. I thought he'd got married last year. Je croyais qu'il s'était marié l'année dernière. I had got a cold after Julien left for Spain. To get a cold, s'enrhumer. Je m'étais enrhumé après que Julien est parti pour l'Espagne. So strangely, après que isn't followed by the subjunctive, whereas avant que is. She got changed because she had got, or the Americans would say gotten, wet in the rain. Apparently we used to say it in England, but the settlers kept it and we didn't in the UK. To get wet is se mouiller. So the first bit is not the pluperfect, it's just the present perfect. Elle s'est changée, use the present tense of être, elle s'est changée parce qu'elle s'était, had got wet, elle s'était mouillée. You could say dans la pluie, they often say under, sous la pluie. She got changed because she had got soaked in the rain. To get soaked is se tremper. Think of a poor old tramp getting soaked in the rain. Se tremper. Not se tromper, to get wrong, se tremper. Elle s'est changée parce qu'elle s'était trempée sous la pluie. Okay? The verb tremper, when it's not pronominal, means to dunk. And I'll send you the words to a famous French song. It's actually a French-Canadian song. And it's telling Marie to dunk her bread in her sauce and then her wine. He had finally got used to living in the UK. To get used to is s'habituer à. Il s'était enfin, or you could say finalement, but enfin is good. Il s'était enfin habitué à vivre au Royaume-Uni. He had finally got used to living there. Danke. Il s'était enfin habitué à y vivre. He had finally got used to it. Okay, now you're going to put the E before the auxiliary verbs. That's what auxiliary verbs do. Because the whole get used to it is going to go before the auxiliary verb. Il s'y, S''y, était enfin habitué. Bit cheeky that one, wasn't it? Now we're going to look at our IR verb. You flick off the final R for your past participle. It ends in I. They had lied to themselves. Il ou elle s'était menti. She had fed herself. To feed, to nourish. Elle s'était nourrie. Often they would add on toute seule. I had got my hands dirty whilst gardening. Je m'étais sali les mains en faisant le jardin. Or you could say en jardinant. So here there's no agreement. Why? Because the me now is not the direct object. The direct object is les mains. And that's coming after the past participle. There's no agreement with the indirect object, which is now what the me has become here. Okay, most of the time you can't hear it, which is wonderful. And whilst gardening is the gerunde. Okay, you've got the ing, A-N-T, en faisant, or en jardinant. Might need to go back to some of those lessons. We had helped, they would say, served ourselves. Nous nous étions servis. On s'était servi. They had got lost off-piste. We're using RE verbs now. Past participle. End in U, the golden U. Il ou elle s'était perdu hors piste. They had always got along well. To get along well, get on together is to hear. I hear you well. S'entendre, s'entendre. I can say s'entendre bien, but s'entendre. Il ou elle s'était toujours bien entendu. So you can see the pronoun goes before the part of être, the auxiliary verb, and then adverbs go after the auxiliary verb. Toujours bien. I hadn't expected to see you. To expect is s'attendre à. Je ne m'étais pas attendu à te voir. He had gone to Paris to work there. Donkey face. So the face is I. The backside is en. I, en. Il s'était rendu. Remember, the fancy word for to go somewhere is se rendre à, or to surrender, or to hand yourself in. Il s'était rendu à Paris pour y travailler, to work there. D'accord, now we are going on to our irregular endings. Because they are the most common verbs, you will be familiar with them. Most of them end in U. They had never seen each other. Il ou elle ne s'était jamais vu. Using nous, we hadn't even recognized each other. Nous nous étions même pas reconnus. If only you would shut up. Addressing tu. Se taire. Past participle is tu. Si seulement tu t'étais tu t'étais tu. Okay, this is an expression that we did when we looked at the en expressions. Expressions using en. En vouloir à quelqu'un. When you want to say what you are angry about, is to be mad or to blame someone. Here we're going to use it as a reflexive one. So, sans vouloir à quelqu'un. I had blamed myself. Past participle of vouloir. Je m'en étais voulu. They had never held each other by the hand. Il ou elle ne s'était jamais tenu par la main. Et at the end of the syllable, tenu. Using to. If only you had restrained yourself. Okay, to restrain, to hold oneself back, to retain, se retenir. Si seulement tu t'étais retenu. Using vous. Hadn't you remembered him? To remember what you bring back from somewhere, to remember the place. Souvenir, se souvenir de. Vous ne vous étiez pas souvenu de lui. So this is one of the verbs when you're talking about a person, you have to keep the de there. De lui. On can only replace inanimate things, not people. But if you're talking about something inanimate or a concept, an event, something intangible or an object, using en, we hadn't remembered it. We've got the donkey's backside. Remember auxiliary verbs. Take pronouns, plop them down before them. It's also in a negative sandwich, goes inside. On ne s'en, S apostrophe en, on ne s'en était pas souvenu. So these past participles end in a sneaky, snaky S. So sneaky you can't hear them usually. So I had sat, as in sat myself down. I had sat myself next to them. Je m'étais. And so you remember the past participle as. As, you've got a picture of an as there. Je m'étais assis. But here you do hear the difference for the feminine. Je m'étais assise à côté d'eux ou à côté d'elle. They had promised one another the moon. Il ou elle s'était promis la lune. So now there is no agreement because la lune is the direct object and it's come after the past participle. Now the se of c'était is indirect and there is not an agreement with indirect objects. They had promised each other it. Feminine it, we're talking about la lune. Il ou elle se l'était promise. So lune is feminine. When the direct object pronoun is before the past participle, there is an agreement. Don't worry, most of the time you cannot hear the difference. Using nous. We had misunderstood one another. The French would say badly understood. Nous nous étions mal compris. Okay, if it's all women, mal comprise. Julien had put himself in danger. Okay, sneaky, snaky, yes, past participle. Julien s'était mis en danger. To stand up in French is se mettre debout. Debout is one word, but it means on end. Se mettre debout. When I came in, she had already stood up. Quand je suis entrée, elle s'était déjà mise debout. Okay, to kneel, down we say in English, se mettre à genoux. When I came in, he had already kneeled down. Quand je suis entrée, il s'était déjà mis à genoux. Another of our en expressions. These are everyday expressions. S'en remettre, to get over something. We've got Humpty Dumpty. They couldn't put him back together again. They never got over it. They had never got over it. Il ou elle ne s'en était jamais remis. There's no agreement with en. They had scared each other. So these past participles end in tea because even gangsters like a cup of tea. To scare is to make fear do fear. Il ou elle s'était fait peur. I had really hurt myself. To make pain. Really is truly, isn't it? Je m'étais vraiment fait mal. They had never told each other the truth. Il ou elle ne s'était jamais dit la vérité. Using nous, we had written to each other every other day. The French say every 2 days. Nous nous étions écrits tous les 2 jours. So now we've got a very teeny tiny group of squeaky past participles that end in e, a squeaky e. We've got a little mouse. What's the French for mouse? Using, oh, we had followed each other on Instagram. On s'était suivi sur Instagram. They had smiled at each other for the first time. Il ou elle s'était souri pour la première fois. And that's a wrap, kids. The French would say, c'est dans la boîte. Well done. Bravo, bravo, bravo.